Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of NoDQ&A video right here on youtube.com/NoDQCW. And as always, NoDQ.com. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Hope you're all having a good time and you're being safe. Got a lot of questions here, so let's not waste any more time. Let's get down to it. What was the best and worst I Quit match ever? I know a lot of people consider Ric Flair versus Terry Funk in 1989 to be one of the greatest I Quit matches of all time. That's definitely towards the top of my list, but I think my all-time favorite, partly because I was there in attendance, would be Mick Foley as Mankind versus The Rock at the 1999 Royal Rumble. To me, that match was just so intense. You had all the chair shots. You had Mick Foley falling off the side of the arena onto the electrical circuit board, and from where I was sitting, I could not see where Foley fell. So you just saw him fall, and then you saw all these sparks flying, and it was crazy. Like, everyone around us, like, holy shit, he's dead. Just a crazy match, very intense, like I said, and my all-time personal favorite match for an I Quit match. I love the finish with the pre-recording of Foley saying "I quit," and this was the first time it was done, I believe, and it was something unique back then. It was before they had done it like a million times after that. So great stuff. I loved it. The worst I Quit match, I hate to say this because it involves Bret Hart, but I have to say it, Bret Hart versus Bob Backlund at WrestleMania 11. Probably the worst pay-per-view match that Bret Hart ever had. I mean, it was not good at all. And Bob Backlund was just way past his prime at that point, and just not a very good match. Also, I wasn't a big fan of the John Cena Miz I Quit match from a year ago, where Miz just beat the hell out of him, and him and Riley just beat up Cena the whole time, and then Cena makes his comeback at the end, and that's the end of it. Didn't like that match too much. Hey Aaron, do you think Vince McMahon will induct himself and Eric Bischoff into the Hall of Fame for being the two biggest competitors with the Monday Night Wars in wrestling history once TNA gets rid of Bischoff? And do you think Hogan will be inducted with the NWO? I don't see Vince McMahon going into the Hall of Fame when he's still alive. I don't think he will allow that. I think he will want to be inducted after he's already gone. So that's what I see happening. As far as Bischoff goes, I definitely see him going in as a possibility once he's done with TNA, but it looks like he's going to be sticking with them for the time being, whatever. And as far as Hogan goes, if you're going to induct the NWO, just like you inducted the Horsemen, you pretty much have to induct Hogan, I think. I just wouldn't be the same if you inducted NWO without Hogan. I mean, really, you would need to induct Hogan, Hall, and Nash at the very least, and probably just those three, I think. I mean, maybe you could add Big Show and Sean Waltman to the mix as well, but I think you would definitely need the original three, Hogan, Hall, and Nash. That's just my opinion. Why do so many people want to see Punk versus Austin? The promos could be great, but they don't really match up that well, do they? I'd rather see Austin versus Taker at a WrestleMania to try to end the streak, or Cena versus Orton. Your thoughts? Well, as far as Undertaker goes, I don't think Steve Austin would want to come back and be in a match that he's already had. So him and Undertaker had enough matches over the years, and I don't really think Austin's interested in doing a match where he's trying to end the streak. I think if Austin was to come back, he would want to be in there with a new star, somebody who's being groomed as the future. And I think he's a big fan of CM Punk, and likewise. I mean, CM Punk is straight edge. He has his Pepsi tattoo, and Steve Austin's a beer drinker. So you have that dynamic right there. And I think the two have a lot of respect for each other, and I think that Austin would just have a lot of fun with that match. And I don't think Austin is quite as close with John Cena or Randy Orton. I think Austin would personally would prefer to wrestle CM Punk, but that's just how I see things. If the money's right, if the opportunity is there, maybe we could see Austin versus Cena or Austin versus Orton, but I think if Austin comes back, it's either going to be against CM Punk or Brock Lesnar. That's just how I see things. And at this point, I don't even know if Austin's coming back. I mean, we keep speculating on it every year that he's going to come back for one more match, and it doesn't happen. And he's almost 50 now. So I don't even know if it's going to happen. But if it does, I think it'll be either Punk or Brock Lesnar. Hello, I saw some of your videos on YouTube, so I decided to follow you anyway. Here's my question. What is your favorite Rock match of all time? Will The Rock go into the Hall of Fame next year? If so, who will induct him? My favorite Rock match of all time would, I don't know. I have a couple. I really liked the ladder match with The Rock versus Triple H at SummerSlam '98. I thought that match was a star-making match. That match, I think both guys came out of that match looking better than they had going in. I think that they tore the house down in Madison Square Garden, and it made superstars out of those guys, in my opinion. And when you watched that match, at least for me, when I watched that match and it was over, I'm like, these two guys are going to be the future of the business. They just went out there and had a tremendous match, and they proved that they can hang at the top. So I mean, that's what I got out of that match. One of my all-time favorite matches, that ladder match. Really, really good match. And, of course, The Rock versus Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 18. I mean, just one of the most memorable matches in the history of the business. And, of course, all The Rock's matches with Steve Austin at WrestleMania, especially WrestleMania 17 and WrestleMania 19. So, I mean, and let me not forget about The Rock versus Mankind, the halftime heat match. I loved that match. I just thought it was so funny. The Rock was at the top of his game in terms of his comedy, and I mean, it was funny because like my friends and I would try to replicate that match in backyard wrestling, and we'd do all the Rock's catchphrases and hit each other with food items and throw each other into refrigerators, and I mean that was just such a fun match, really, really entertaining. One of my all-time favorites. Do you agree that Buff could have been a Jericho RVD level star if he wasn't such a problem backstage? I think he had the look, the talent, the mic skills, the charisma, creative finish, everything. Why don't people admit that he had a lot of skill and potential? Yeah, definitely the backstage problems he had hurt his career, especially in WWE. But WCW really dropped the ball with him, I think. When Buff had that neck injury from the Rick Steiner Bulldog in spring 1998, that was a perfect opportunity to make Buff Bagwell a top babyface. They brought him out on the Nitro in the Georgia Dome, and the crowd just went crazy for him. And Buff was this sympathetic guy who was coming back from a major injury that could have paralyzed him. You just had an easy storyline right there. Buff Bagwell, the conquering babyface, coming back. The NWO rejects him, so he's going to get revenge, and he's going to run through all those guys. Just a very easy storyline to do right here. So what does WCW do? They immediately turn him heel again. Flushing money right down the toilet. Reason number 678 why WCW went out of business. Failing to capitalize on that Buff Bagwell babyface turn. And by the time they finally turned him face, I mean, it was too late. You missed your opportunity. NWO Sold Out had a black ring mat. It looked cool. Why hasn't there been more changes to ring mat design? I always thought when WCW had the Nitro logo on the mat, it looked a lot cooler than WWE's boring plain mat. That is a really good question, and I don't know why. Because I remember there was one occasion where WWE had the logo on the mat. That was for WrestleMania 12. They had the WrestleMania 12 logo on the mat. And the thing is, after the pay-per-view, they had this special offer where they were selling these plaques, and the plaque included a piece of the ring. They cut up the ring into pieces, and you could literally own a piece of WrestleMania 12 with the plaque and all that. I thought at the time that was such a awesome marketing move right there. I thought that that was brilliant because it's a great collector's item, and there's going to be fans out there that would jump at the chance to actually own a piece of the mat that was used for WrestleMania. and it had part of and all parts of the logo and everything. So I don't get why they didn't do that more often. I guess it didn't sell as well as they were hoping, but I mean, I would think that fans would love a chance to buy something like that. So I don't know why. It's a really great question, and just don't know. All right, that'll wrap things up for this edition of No DQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching. Like I said, hope you're all having a happy and safe Memorial Day weekend, and I'll be back on Tuesday with another edition of No DQ&A video, so stay tuned.